grab a pen and pad. You're listening to the Take Notes with Kee Kee Barber podcast. Your host, Kee Kee Barber, a wife, mother, entrepreneur, educator, and author, shares her experiences, expertise, and advice that you can apply to your own lives.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Take Notes with Kee Kee Barber podcast. I am so excited to be here with you guys. This has been a long time coming. I've been trying to do this for a minute now, and something else always came up or got in the way or took the space of actually getting it done. So I'm here, and also fear, of course. You know, you're always scared a little bit, and it works for me. And once I get past the scared, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know why I was so nervous and scared about that. So just a little bit of backdrop on me. I am Kee Kee Barber. I am a wife, a mother. I am an educator, an author, entrepreneur, and a lover of God, lover of Christ. So that is my backdrop. I wanted to start this podcast because I felt like I wanted to take all of my experiences, all of my expertise, and all of my advice and roll it all up into one and gift it to people who are dealing with similar things or may have dealt with similar things and don't know how to go about it or how to get out of it or how to navigate through it. And something that I may say, some other ways I may have handled it, you might be able to add or apply it to your life to help the situation and progress to the next level. So I am South Philly born and raised. Please don't get it twisted. South Philly born and raised, love where I'm from. I rep my city to the fullest. And I just want to talk about today's title is called The Struggle Was Real. The struggle was real. And I just wanted to give you a backdrop on myself. I am from a single parent household. I am one of 12 children. I am the third oldest child. I have 6 brothers, 5 sisters. God has been so good and so faithful and brought us through a whole lot and brought us a mighty, mighty long way. One thing I could say is that my mother, the one thing that she did do was instill God in us at an early age, and it just stuck. It just stuck. So I'm definitely grateful for that. So on this podcast, we'll be talking about a number of things. We'll go into some deep topics. We'll talk about starting your businesses. We'll talk about entrepreneurship. We'll talk about family. We'll talk about husband and wife. We'll talk about blended families. A few points that I wanted to make about growing up and how I grew up and how I've gotten to the place that I am right now, and how I just went through different phases and just everything that I went through about the struggle. Some people don't like the struggle. And the struggle is real, but the success is realer, if that's even a word. I just made it up. The struggle is real, but the success is realer, okay? So you have to go through that to get to that. You can't just skip over it. I want to talk about my first experience, and I want to hear about yours. What was your first experience with money? What was your first experience with money? Now, I know sometimes people, the money is the root of all evil, okay? I don't need a whole lot of money. I don't want to hold it. I don't want this and I don't want that. That's cool. If that's your stance on it, that's not my stance on it. Okay? And I made that very clear to Jesus when I talked to him. He knew exactly what I wanted. I made it clear and plain. So before I get started, my shirt, Entrepreneur. If you, the link is below. If you guys would like to have a shirt, if you're an entrepreneur that prays and definitely know that you can't get through without some prayer, listen, this is the shirt for you. Also, in the beginning of my podcast, I will be celebrating 2 businesses every single time. And the business I wanted to highlight today was Buff by Burrows, which is my brother, Steven. If you're looking for somebody who can shine some floors, who can clean your place like to the point where you don't recognize it when you walk back in. This is the brother to call. Great, great, great work. Loves what he does. And you could tell that he loves what he does because you see it. The proof is in the pudding. And if you're in the tri-state area, if you need, he does commercial cleaning, he does residential, floors, painting, whatever it is. He just expanded so much. I don't know. He started off cleaning and doing floors, you guys. But now I hear he's like remodeling and stuff. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing right now. But if you need anything that I just spoke of, you can definitely click the link on the bottom and go visit him at Buff by Burrows. Also, we want to shine a spotlight on Demon Slayers. Demon Slayers is an apparel line that my little sister, these are my little sister and my little brother, so you know I gotta show them love first. It would not be right if I did not shout out my own first. So charity starts at home, okay? So Demon Slayers is run by my sister Diana Myers and Tim Myers, husband and wife team. Definitely a nice apparel line. The link will be below if you guys would like to purchase a shirt, a Demon Slayer shirt. My next video, I'll have one of their shirts on and you'll be able to see. But you can also click the link below and check them out. They have some dope stuff over there. They definitely, I wear the shirt with pride. Like, I wear the shirt with pride. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a Demon Slayer. And the devil knows I'm a Demon Slayer because every time he probably has to be assigned to mess with me or do something, he probably has to think twice like, oh, I don't feel like it with her. Because he definitely knows that he's going to get a fight and he's going to know that he's been in a fight with me after we fight. Because it's not going to be that easy. Okay? So I definitely take pride in my Demon Slayer shirt. Like, yep. I'm slaying y'all all day, you know. Bad energy, everything. I'm slaying y'all all day. So definitely check that out. Great line, great apparel line, great cleaning company. So we also have something called the Mommy Moment. The Mommy Moment is a moment that I reflect on motherhood, whether it be one of my own accounts, whether it be one of my own experiences with my children, whether it be something that I remember from childhood from my mother, whether it be somebody else that's going through it with their children, or something that I could take and apply to myself, or just a story about mothers and motherhood. I always do that with my Mommy Moment. But today's Mommy Moment is dedicated to my mother, of course. Okay? I always start with my own. So this Mommy Moment is going to talk about how I realized, or when it was that I realized that my mom did an incredible job. You don't always know your mom did an incredible job, so don't even look at me like that. Don't even start, what she said? The moment I realized that my mother did an incredible job. Yep. And we go through things, like I said, as children, where we like, this is the worst house ever. I wish I had a different mother. You know, you even if you don't say it, you think it, because, you know, back in the day, you get smacked, all your teeth, down your throat and things like that. That's before they started calling, child abuse on people. Before they started calling child abuse on people and taking people's children for just chastising your child. Yeah. Before that happened, you were prone to getting hit in your mouth if something came out of it that was like sideways or something like that. So even though you didn't really verbalize it, you might have had a diary where you like, I can't wait to get out of this house. They don't know what they're doing. I can't wait. And you go through all those things like, she don't know what she doing. You might have somebody else who has a mother who does all the things that you wish that your mother did. And it's like, you go through all those things. And what you do is when you grow up, you think you're doing something and you think you're doing your kids a favor, but you're doing them a disservice, honestly. And I realized that my mom was the bomb and that she was the best mother ever when I heard my own child say, I wish somebody else was my mom, or I wish we did this or she did that, or I wish we could have had this or had that, or what, like doubting my motherhood and just ignoring the fact that I put everything into raising you. Okay. So much so that I carefully examined how my mother raised me and deliberately went a different way by giving you everything, which was a mistake. And this is how you repay me? This is how you repay me? Okay. So that is when I realized, like, yo, my mom was the bomb.com, because even though we did not have a whole lot of things, we learned all the lessons that we needed to go on in this life. And when I say you think you're doing your kids a favor by spoiling them and giving them everything that they want and giving them everything that you never had and at their beck and call and all of that nonsense, you create lazy people. You create lazy human beings that are going to grow up into society, and as soon as they hear no, they're going to break down because they don't know what no is, because mama and daddy give them everything, And I thank God that when I said, Mom, can I have some Pumas? No, we can't afford that. But you can take these penny loafers with the hole in the bottom, put some plastic in the bottom, and you can go ahead and walk to school. Okay? That's what you could do. Because that's all I got for you right now. Mom, can I not? No, what you're going to do is you're going to clean the house today. You're going to do your dishes. You're going to clean the bathroom. On Saturdays, you're going to go out and clean the streets. You're going to do street cleaning. You're going to clean these baseboards. Like, what's a baseboard? You're going to clean these woodworks. And I knew I was like kind of failing the moment I told my kids to clean the baseboard, the woodworks, and they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh, I did a bad job. I know I jacked this up. I did a bad job because my mother had us cleaning woodworks. Our woodworks were clean. Our baseboards were clean. They were white. Okay? We got down on our knees and we cleaned them. Yes, we did. We wiped off doors. Where it attracts a little dirt and everything and it starts turning different color? Yeah. Wiped off doors. That's what we did. We did everything that we were told to do. But in everything that she did, there was a lesson. There was a lesson to learn and something that you can apply and take with you to your adulthood. So when you think you're doing something by giving them a so-called better life, and you take out the fundamentals of work ethic, you're going to hear no sometimes, but keep pushing forward. You're going to have to clean your own space. And you're going to have to, you messed it up, so you clean it. Okay? Work as a team. Help me out, please. Don't just see me doing this all day long and just not lift a finger, please. You learn those things along the way and you take them into adulthood. But when somebody does it for you the whole time, you miss the lesson and you become, it damages you. It's sorry, but it does, a disservice. My mom, when she could finally buy me some LA gears, I was ecstatic. Like, I can get some LA gears. Like, T.I. sweatsuit, I can get a sweatsuit. Like, after hearing no like 10 million times, I just thought it was like, okay, she can't afford it because she got, we have a lot of us going on. She got to pay, she got to do this, she got to do that. She doesn't have it. And then we got to the point where it was like, oh, you can get some, okay, shot. It was, instead of it being the other way around, like, yes, you can have this. Yes, daughter, you can have this. Yes, son, you can have this. You can have this. And then you get tired and be like, no. And they like they have a conniption because they heard the word no. Because they're so conditioned to hearing yes all their lives. And then when the first person comes along and says no, they don't know how to take it. So the mommy moment goes to my mother. Shout out to my mother, Sarah, because you did a great job with 12 kids. We didn't have much, but you gave us the fundamentals, you gave us the basics, and you made us productive members of society. Okay? So that goes to my mom. Shout out to you. I'm sorry for all the times I said, all the times I thought, all the times I wrote in my diary, like, this life is for the birds. That life was exactly what it needed to be to make me who I am today. And I thank you for that. That I have tough skin. I thank you for that. That, listen, I could go on and on about that woman because I couldn't do what she did. Like, I had two and was like what? You know, so, yeah, shout out to my mom. Shout out to Sarah. So I want to talk about your experience with money. What was your first experience with money? What was your first experience with money? And I want to talk about that because it kind of shapes and molds you into what's your perception of money. It just molds your perception. The earlier you learn about money, what's done with money around you, whether your parents paid bills on time, whether they didn't pay bills on time, whether they had money, whether they didn't have money. When you had your first shot at making money, did you squander it? Did you save it? Did you make plans to do something with it? Like, how do you handle your money? How do you handle your money? So my first experience with money was, listen, y'all remember them snowstorms that it snowed so much that it was taller than you? Like when you were like 10, 11, it was taller than you, like on a little block called Crosskey. Shout out to Crosskey Street. And the snowplows would come through and push all the snow on the cars, and you could nobody get out, so everybody was just like, you know, and my mom would still be like, we still walking to church? Like, why are we still walking to church? Okay. You know what I'm saying? They still open. Okay, they open, you know. So those times when the snow was crazy like that, that was also an opportunity for us to go out and make money. It was an opportunity for us to go out and make money. I used to go with my brothers, and I used to knock on people's doors and be like, excuse me, ma'am, would you like your your pavement shovel? And, you know, and they would look at me like, you're a girl. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm a girl with a lot of boys behind me. My brothers are right here, you know, the older ones anyway, were right there with me. And I did not have a problem with shoveling snow as long as I knew that it could get me some money. Okay. So my hustle started way back then. And I would be so cold out there, and I would be, hands can't feel them, feet can't feel them, and I would still be out there. I would still be out there, and I would make as much money as I could. I would knock on all the doors. We would split it up. We would go across the street. We would handle everything. My brother would be down the street. I'd be over here. The other one over here. But we all together, you know. And I would stay out there and shovel until I couldn't feel my fingers and I couldn't feel my feet. And when I couldn't feel my fingers or my feet, then I would go home, thaw out enough to count my money, and then hide my money somewhere. And then, because my mom always took our money. She did. My mom always took our money. So I would hide my money and then go back outside. And then I would be at it again and save some more money. And then I just love the feeling of having money versus not having money. And it wasn't a whole lot of money, but it was my money and I worked for it. And it felt good to work for something and actually achieve something and obtain some things. And that's where my love for money started. But the thing I love about how my money journey started and my love for acquiring things started was that I knew that it was attached to work. I knew that I had to work for it. I really never thought of a way to get money without working, getting over on somebody, or having someone give it to me. That was never a thought process of mine. I've always, went out and worked for it. And I will also bag groceries at the grocery store. Excuse me, do you want your groceries bagged? And they'd be like, okay. Well, bag some groceries, shovel some snow, save some money if my mom didn't find it and spend it to feed us. If she was having a tough time or something like that. And that was my first experience with money. And that's how that shaped my mindset on how I could get more as I got older. And that mindset was, you gotta work. You gonna have to work for it. So that was my first experience with money. My next point is, how can you learn the lesson from whoever is teaching it? Learn the lesson from whoever is teaching it, or receive the message from whoever is giving it. And I say that to say that God speaks to people in many ways through many different facets. And some of us miss it because we're so busy waiting for this grand way that is going to come, or this delivery from this specific person that it's going to come from. And sometimes you miss it. Sometimes you miss exactly what God is trying to tell you or say to you, because you're not receptive to how he does it, or the way he goes about having the message sent to you. I receive messages all the time from whoever. Like, I'll definitely receive a message. My daughters teach me all the time. Like, I remember one time Sarai, she's a vegetarian, and she's been that way for a number of years. She's just turned 16. She's been that way since she was like 12, 13. And I was asking her because, we're eating food. We're eating our barbecue chicken. We don't eat pork or beef, but we do eat chicken, turkey products, and things like that. So we're like, you don't want no chicken? She like, no. So I thought it was a phase at first. And I'm like, well, she'll be all right. She'll come back around. And a year passed, 2 years. I'm like, yo, this is what she's doing. Like, she's so serious. So one day, I have a conversation with her, and I'm like, what made you want to be a vegetarian? And what I really want to know is, how are you sticking to it? How are you sticking to it? You're young. How are you sticking to it? With all this barbecue chicken around here, all this stuff everybody eating all in your face, it doesn't bother you? Ask her to have some iced tea or lemonade. She like, water, please. And you like, you want to become a temptress, like, you sure you don't want become a little devil? You sure you don't want no iced tea? She's like, no, I don't want any iced tea. Thank you. I'll take the water. And then you wonder why she walk around here with flawless skin and you got all these pimples. Because she got self-control, okay? So I asked her one day, and I was like, what makes you so staunch and able to stick to this vegetarian thing and be so young? And you made up your mind so young, and you were, you have not deviated from it. I don't understand. I just want to know what happened. And she was like, I just made a decision. And I said, you just made a decision. And she said, I made a decision. I stuck to it. And I don't see anything outside of that. It's easy. I was like, it's easy. Is it that easy? Because I wish before you was born, you were like a spirit that was around me that was just like, you make a decision, stick to it, and don't see anything outside of it. Because I sure would have missed some pitfalls and you could have saved me from some mistakes if it was that simple. Because a lot of us as adults, and that's coming from a child, and that's what I did. I took it and I applied it to my life. And I was like, It is that simple. You make a decision. You stick to it. And you don't see anything past that, anything outside of that decision. That's it. Like, she made it so simple and so plain. And it was like, she was like, it's not rocket science. It was almost like, duh. Like, almost like, duh, it's that simple. Like, you thought it was harder than that? And it's just like, well, yeah, because I've said I wasn't going to do things and went right back to doing them over and over again. You know, I quit you and I say, I'm not going to call you no more. And then I pick up the phone and start dialing your number. You know? And if I could have had that advice or had that much strength that you have, where it's just simply make a decision, I will be farther along. I will be farther along. So I say that to say, don't ever miss the message because you are trying to see or you don't like the form in which it's coming. And a lot of people will tell kids, you so disrespectful, you so fresh, you so smart, because they're telling them something that hit a spot like ouch. When they're right. Just because you're older than them doesn't make you right. And just because they're a child delivering information doesn't mean they're disrespectful. Okay, I need people to understand that. Okay, it'll help you out a lot. Your kids can help you out a whole lot if you just listen and have some conversations with them. You know, but that was one of the things that helped me out through my life. And since Sarai's been born, she's been a blessing. Gianna's a blessing. Where I had to take a pause moment, like, wow, yeah, just make a decision and stick to it. That's it. You know, so I definitely applied that to my life. Another point I wanted to talk about was how people despise humble beginnings. And we were not fortunate to have a whole lot of things when we were younger, but we had things. We had things. And sometimes people, even with my businesses with the salons, when I started those, you have these ideas that you just want to be big. You know, you see them, it's like you don't see them starting out, you just see them at their end point. And it's like, oh my God, this is going to be big. This is going to be big. This is going to be big. And you don't want to start at grassroots, or you don't want to start it small. You rather bite off more than you can chew because you want it to be so grand. And I had to start, when I first started, I do something called the hair harvest every year. And I would do it. And it first started out, it was a few people there. It wasn't a lot. I've been doing it for like the past 12 years. And it's called the hair harvest. And what we did was combined my love for people and transition and my love for hair. And I combined it and made it an event called the hair harvest, where we just service people who are in transitional homes or people who are disenfranchised, poverty stricken, whatever it is, whatever it is at that time that they're going through. And we just service them and we do hair and things like that. When I first started the first hair harvest, I was looking for more of a turnout. I was looking for more of a turnout. And then, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Just the idea of it was beautiful. But I was looking for more of a turnout. And had I stopped at that first year, I would not be able to see what it's doing today, or what it's doing up to this point. We started out service maybe 40 or 50 people that day to 12 years later servicing so many different people in transition. But had I despised my humble beginnings, I would have wrote the whole thing off and never saw the baby grow. I would have threw it out, and I didn't become weary in well-doing. I didn't become weary and well-doing at that point. Now, there is a time in my life where I did become, after doing this thing for many years, I did become weary and well-doing. But that first year, into the second year, into the third year, into the fourth year, it was growing, it was getting better. I'm like, okay, Lord, we're building, we're branching out, we're making connections and partnerships, and this is beautiful, Lord. Now, this is how I wanted it to be when I first started it. But had I been so disappointed with the humble beginning of it, I could have got discouraged and threw the whole thing away and not given it time to mature to what it is today and missed the whole blessing. So sometimes you have to start small and not bite off more than you can chew. And don't go into doing things prematurely. Wait your time. But while you're waiting your time, you learn about your business. You learn, you read, you watch videos, you go to YouTube University, whatever it is you need to do, you start getting your business license. You could plan everything until God says, okay, move. Because the worst thing is for God to say, okay, now, and you just not ready, just not prepared, just don't know anything about, but you knew it was coming, So that's one thing I would say is don't despise humble beginnings. Start where you can start, and then you can grow and propel to be whatever that force that you're trying to be. And some people start big, if you have it like that, and if it's like that, some people start big, but it's okay to start small. It's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with starting small. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. I remember when I first got my first salon, it was just one chair in there. And guess who did hear me? And guess what I did? I went, every time I made more and more money, I went out and I bought another chair and another chair and another chair until I had a whole set. Because guess what? I couldn't afford. I could not afford to go in there and go buy a whole set of salon chairs with my first time out. No, I worked and bought another one and bought another one and bought another one. And somebody else would have probably been like, now eventually with owning like 3 or 4 salons, I'm able now to have the money and the revenue to be like, bam, give me a whole set, give me 4 chairs, give me this, give me that, bam, 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 bam. But somebody probably would have looked at me like, this girl don't got this shop together. How she got one chair in here? Because that's what I could afford. Okay? That's what I could afford. I could afford one chair. I got my one chair. It was just me in there. And as I hired people, I bought another chair. Hired somebody else, bought another chair. Until the whole salon was banging and full and everything. But somebody else probably wouldn't even want to start a salon until they have all the pieces. You'll never have all the pieces. Sometimes it doesn't come like that. It doesn't come like that. But if God gives me like a nugget, I'm good with my nugget. I'm good with my nugget. I'm going to take it and I'm going to listen. I'm going to make it the best that it could be with my little nugget. And that's what I did. That's how I built the first salon. One chair, one everything. Like it was just, one chair. Set up the stations when Peter came out. Peter, I think his name was Peter. I forgot his last name, but came out to do my inspection. It was like, oh, okay. So you're gonna have. Yeah. So this X right here is for my second chair, and this X right here is for my third chair. And if you see the square footage between each is enough for it, like you know what I'm trying to spell out here. Don't touch. Don't make this difficult, okay? So it was one of those things like this X marks this chair and that station is enough square footage between each so they could work, okay, with enough space required by the law for them to function. Next, just like that, and passed and was ecstatic and was like, okay, and just bought my chairs as they came. But, I didn't despise humble beginnings. I actually worked so hard and pieced everything together, and then it just took off after that. it just took off. It just took off after that. But don't despise humble beginnings. Now, another thing I want to say is don't get weary in well-doing either. Because I did get weary in well-doing at one point, and it's not a good place to be, especially when you're doing something that is your purpose and you feel like God called you to this and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So my purpose is I'm put here to help people. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to give back, to build up, and to give hope to everybody who lacks that. Everybody can't deal with my purpose, especially if you have a partner who's against all of that. You know, everybody's not going to be able to deal with the fact that you are sent here to build people up, that people are attached to you with so many different problems and things like that, and they draw from you, they lean on you, they call you, and then you have to be a blessing to those people. Sometimes even when you don't have it for yourself, you have to be a blessing. But God always gives, like he has always taken care of me. He's always given me resources to accomplish every goal that he has had me to do. So I can't even complain about that at all. But there was a time that I got weary in well-doing, and this one time that I got weary in well-doing, I was doing hair harvest. I was doing the back-to-school drives for the little kids. I had kids around the corner doing hair for free. I had my stylist in on it. Like, if you work for me, you have to do two charity events a year. One is the hair harvest and one is the back-to-school drive for the kids. And we're going to get them some book bags and some stuff, and we're going to do their hair. Yes, that's a requirement to work at Promise. It is. So they went along with it, and and they loved giving back. Some of my stylists were like, listen, I don't feel like giving away back nothing. And then some of them were just like, Kee, when's the next event? I'm excited about this. They really love the idea of giving back. But I got to a point where I shifted my focus, and that's where I made my mistake. I shifted my focus, and I was more focused on, these people are ungrateful. They keep talking about me. I was just off, off on a tangent, worried about what people were thinking, how people viewed me. I'm giving them all this stuff, and they still find a way to not be appreciative. They still find a way to talk about me behind my back. They still find a way, and I just became weary and well-doing, and I was just like, God, I ain't doing it no more. I'm not doing this no more. So I'm just going to stop doing this. That's what I'm going to stop doing. Stop doing this. I went through a bad time. I was big bad until, I got before God, the person who actually put me on the assignment. And I was just like, I ain't doing it no more. And you loud at first, like, I ain't doing it no more. And then you just feel the presence of God, and you like, I ain't doing it no more. Like, I don't care. I ain't doing it no more. Like, and then your big I ain't doing it no more turns into, well, I gotta do it. So it's like God ain't even saying that. He just looking at you like, you ain't gonna do what? Like, what are you not gonna do now, Nikisha? What are you not gonna do? Say that again. And it's like, okay, all that say it with your chest went out the door. Like, but why I gotta do it? Why, Lord? They don't, appreciate me. They don't do this. They don't do that. And after I came to myself and took myself out of it and looked at the bigger picture and looked at the purpose, I realized that it ain't about you, girl. Like, girl, it ain't even about you. So I don't know why it ain't about you. Your purpose here is to help others, not to help them because they're going to say thank you the way you want them to say thank you. It's not to help them because you want to feel this big puffed up chest thing. That's not the reason why you're on this assignment, sweetheart. I don't care if don't nobody say thank you. to you. If this is what I told you to do and called you to do, then this is what you're going to do. And you can't be wrapped up into what people are saying and doing around you that's going to stop you from living out your purpose or living out what your assignment is. Because that can stop you and have you all in your feelings and all these different moods, when at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter as long as the purpose is carried out. That's all. So people might say thank you, but don't take it as a badge. You're like, oh, I'm doing something. You're only doing what your purpose is. You're doing what you would call put on earth to do, whatever it is. Just do it without accolades, without awards, in the midnight hour, when nobody's around, when people are around. Just do it. That's your purpose. Just do it. And when you don't expect anything, that's when you can do your purpose or act it out flawlessly. When you are have an expectancy of what people think of you or how much they praise you, that's when you've missed it. You've missed it big time. So I would say, don't despise humble beginnings, but also don't get weary in well doing. When you do blow up or when you get big and get to that point, please don't get weary in well doing. Because that's a spot, that's not a good spot to be in. That's really not a good spot to be in, because it'll have you all the way off track and make you lose focus of everything. The disease to please is a real sickness. And once you get delivered from it, you're so liberated. You're like, oh my God, I never knew I was sick. I never knew it was a disease. I never knew I could be so free. Yeah, you can. So we'll talk about the disease to please at another time. Another topic I wanted to go into today was how hard work actually pays off. Hard work actually pays off. It does. I remember one time I was at this church with my friend Jester, and it's called All Hats Off. And a minister called me up. I was going through a divorce at that time. The minister called me. I was beat down. Y'all, I was so beat down. I'm talking about beat down to the point where you just like you cute, but you just think you ugly. You just when you start believing a liar, the lie of the enemy is like, oh, but I'm all right. No, you are not, or just all right. You are beautiful. Okay, you're beautiful. So I was in that place where it was like a dark space in my life, and just thought I was ugly, just thought I was not enough, I just thought a whole bunch of things about myself that I do not believe anymore. So he brought me up and he started telling me those things in my ear, like, we denounced this and we denounced that and we reprogrammed her mind. And, he was just giving me word of knowledge and praying over me and things like that. And one thing he said was that stuck to me in my brain. And he said, God wants to bless you tremendously, but every time you start something, you just stop. He said, God wants you to stop stopping. I was like, stop stopping? He was like, yes, God wants you to stop stopping. Just follow through with something once in your life. Just go all the way through. Like, as big as you think it could be that big. Exceedingly abundantly above all that you could ever ask or think. Like, yeah, it could be that big. But you always start it and then you stop. You start it and then you stop. You start it and then you stop. Something else distracts you. Something else derails whatever it was that you were trying to do. And when he said that, I caught that thing like, listen, you'd have thought I had like a mitt on. I caught that thing so hard in my spirit and was like, stop stopping. And that might help somebody else out. Like, stop stopping. If you know that God told you to do it, and if you know that it's something that you're supposed to be doing, stop starting stuff and not finishing it. Stop stopping. Stop it. Just stop it, And when he told me that, I was just like, wow. So I just went ham. Like, I was refreshed that day. I went, and I just started going back to stuff like a book I had on the back burner. I had a book on the back burner. It was like 10 years in the making. That'll be in the link below too. It's called Gritty. Greatness Revealed in Tough Times through Yahweh. So it tells my whole story. And I had this book on the back burner for, like I said, almost 10 years. Just writing this book like, nah, I'll do it later. No, I don't want to do it because I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. No, I don't want to tell nobody's story. No, I don't want to tell my story because they're in my story and then they're going to know it's them. Like, I just had so many reasons why I didn't want to do it. But I knew that God was impressing upon me to release the book, not for me, but for a lot of other women that needed to hear the story, that would get set free from my story. And I went back. I started working on my book. I just had a renewed sense of like, I could do this. Started working on everything that I ever wanted to do. I just started doing it. And I have that thing that always sticks in the back of my head, even when I don't feel like it. Like, we just did, my husband and I are doing a ton of things right now. But even when I feel the Holy Spirit saying, Kee, get up and go to the office, or Kee, get up and pray about this, or Kee, whatever he says do, I always get in my little procrastinatory thing. But I don't feel like it. Like, oh my God, I don't feel like it. And I hear your voice so clear, and I'm like, I don't feel like it. Why? And I hear in the back of my head that, Pastor, stopping. Like, did you not hear what I said? Stop stopping. Like, get up, go in the office and go read this. Get up, go do this and do that to that business. Go do that for that business and go do that for that business and things like that. And that's just something that stuck with me. And hard work does pay off. You could be up in the middle of the night. Do what you have to do. Like right now, it's quiet in the house because everybody's asleep. My husband upstairs meditating. My bonus son is quiet, in his quarters. And it's like, I would rather be up there, like spooning with my husband. I really would right now. But I know that God is impressing upon me to get this podcast off the ground. Like, stop procrastinating, Nikisha, and get it done already. So the sacrifice, the hard work, it does pay off. I'm a living proof that it does pay off. I've had, like I said, businesses, real estate. We have now transitional houses or group homes for mental health. We are expanding we have a home health agency that's in the works. And these are all passion projects because I always want people treated the best. So everything in my purpose aligns. Everything in my purpose aligns. Even from doing hair, I did hair because I wanted to make people feel good and look good. That's it. I wanted to make people look good and feel good. In any way that I could give back to help a woman feel good about herself, that's what I did. With these other projects, we went without housing at times, I want somebody always to be able to live somewhere and nobody rob them and overcharge them. That's why even when I did hair, my prices were never outlandish. I always wanted to be affordable. I could stay out here doing it all day long. Like, the price points on hair is ridiculous. So I was never doing anything to get rich because God always, always, always takes care of me. I'm so well taken care. Listen, my God rest our soul, Pastor Chris preached this message a long time ago. I was probably like 12 or 13, and she preached this message called "I Am a Kept Woman." What? She said, "I am a kept woman," and even then I understood it though. But now it's like, girl, I'm a kept woman. Like, He keeps me. I'm taken care of. I am. Listen, if something happened to me, He coming to see about me. Okay. And I know that without a shadow of a doubt. As sure as I'm sitting here, I know it. That's how you have to be when it comes to your passion. You have to set aside time. There's not enough hours in a day. I know it's not. Not enough hours in a day at all. But if you want to build your own empire and not build somebody else's empire, these are the things that you have to do. Somebody told me you have to work your 9 to 5 until your 5 to 9 becomes your 9 to 5, which means you're going to have to go work a full-time job all day, yeah. But then when you come home, you do what is going to build your empire. So eventually you can leave, and that takes the place of working for somebody else. If that's your goal, some people are fine with that, working with somebody else for somebody else. But if your goal is to be an entrepreneur and be financially set and to have full autonomy of your time, then you need to be working on a plan while you're working. Work the plan while you're working. Don't wait till after you stop working and start working the plan. No. Work it while you're working, which means you're going to be tired. You're going to lack some sleep, and sleep is overrated anyway. It's overrated. You're going to lack some sleep. You're going to lack some things. You're going to miss out on some things. You can't go to everything. You can't make every single event. You can't go out partying all the time. You have to sacrifice. But hard work does pay off. I am a living testimony that hard work pays off. But I also have a recipe for how my hard work pays off and how I know it pays off. And it's my belief system. It's the way I carry myself. I don't let a whole lot of things get into the way of my thought processes, or I don't allow a lot of negativity in my space. I dismiss it instantly. Whatever God said he is going to do, I believe it with my whole heart. Whole heart. There's nothing different you could tell me. I believe it with my whole heart. And my husband always says, I have this thing where it's always like, I mind my business. I don't mind, I mind my business. And he says, why do you say that all the time? If we're working out a plan, or we have something going on, or we're doing something, and we're waiting for God to give us the answer on something, and we've done everything that we're supposed to do, and we're just waiting for God to work his, do his part. Like, I'm about my Father's business, but I don't mind his business. Nope, not at all. Now, what I mean by that is I will check off every box on the list that he told me to do. If he said, Kee Kee, do this, Kee Kee, do that, whatever he tells me to do, I will do everything he says for me to do. Once I pass that file over to him, I do not worry about how much money is owed or how much money I need. I do not worry about if the person that's over top of it, how they're going to feel or reject me, because I know that the heart of the king is in the master's hand, and he turns it to and fro. So I don't worry about that. I don't worry about the ins and outs of how he's going to pull it off. I just know that he's going to pull it off. He's going to do it. Like, without a doubt. And that's how I work with everything. If I know that God told me to do it, and I've done everything that he told me to do, I don't worry about how he's going to get the rest done. I just sit around and expect it. Like, as sure as I'm sitting with my legs crossed, I will sit here and be like, won't worry about it, won't stress about it. Even down to the last second. Like, sometimes some stuff be so close, you be like, and my husband would be like, we need it. And it'll be something as simple as an email, and he'd be like, you said that. Because you have to believe with your whole heart. Don't second guess it. And let him do what he does. I don't mind his business. I'm not going to mess up and go ahead and try to do God's job and mess up the whole thing. So I always know with him as a partner, the job is always going to get done. It's always going to get done. And if it doesn't get done, then I know I did something. I procrastinated. I didn't feel like doing something. I was just plain old disobedient. I was delaying the process. Whatever it was, it would come from my end. It would not be anything from his end. So that's how I accomplish a whole lot of things. Is I believe everything he says like I am a child. Childlike faith. Even at 40, almost 44, I have childlike faith. And I believe that he's going to do every single thing. And it does blow my mind. It blows my mind. I'm always expecting it. But how he does it once everything is worked out and you actually see how he does it, it's just like, wow, you're so awesome. You did it again. You did it again. So that is definitely one of my secrets, is I believe with my whole heart. I don't doubt anything. Another point that I wanted to make was, don't be afraid to stick out, and don't concern yourself with what other people are doing in the process. Whatever God has for you to do, you go ahead and do what God told you to do. Don't worry about the person in the next lane next to you. Don't be so busy focused on that person that you wind up running into the back of a truck, because you're not looking at the road or paying attention to the road. So those are a few of the things I'll give shout outs to people. I'll big up people. I'll do all of that. But I am not concerned with what other people are doing around me, because I'm never competing with anybody. I'm only competing with myself, and I'm only competing to do it better than I did it yesterday. That's it. So I'm never concerned. And a lot of people oftentimes mess up because instead of them focusing on their slice of the pie or their purpose or their mission, they're always looking to the left or to the right to see what somebody else is doing. And it's like, no. You can celebrate people. Go ahead and celebrate people. Everybody deserves some celebration. Give honor to whom honor is due. Definitely. But don't be so focused on what they're doing that you lose what God told you to do, because you're trying to mimic something that somebody else is doing. He don't want you to mimic them. That's why he has them doing it, because he wants them to attract a different population of people. And he has you doing it this way because he wants you to attract a different population of people. He wants your swag on it. He wants you to say it the way you would say it, not the way they would say it. They're not going to win who you win. You're not going to win who they win. So what's the point of becoming a clone of somebody else when God expected you to be authentically who you are so you can get who you're supposed to get? So I always say I'd rather be peculiar and stand out. I would rather be a sore thumb than to blend into any crowd any day. You know? And that's just something that I believe. You know, I believe that. I don't keep up with Joneses. I don't worry about what the next person is doing. I merely just focus on the assignment or the task at hand, and I accomplish it. So I hope you got something from this. This is the struggle was real. The struggle was definitely real. And just giving you guys some pointers on how to navigate through the struggles, how to navigate through some of the struggles. And if you stay consistent, if you stay persistent, and you get through all those times, that the reward is great. The reward is great when I tell you, it really, really, really is. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this podcast. I want to thank everybody who has tuned into this podcast. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please share it, like it, subscribe, and I'll meet you here next time. Next week, we're going to be talking about, what are we talking about next week? Next week, we are talking about the child in me. That's a good episode. So we'll have guests on. We'll have my husband in a few weeks. He'll be here. My daughter will be on, talking about acting and the life of an actress as a child and things like that. But the next week is going to be, episode 2 is going to be called The Child in Me. And I'll tell you guys how I had to confront the child in me. I don't want to give too much away, but we'll talk about that. About confronting your inner child. Okay? And I hope you guys like it. So until next time, this is Kee Kee Barber. Newly married, keep forgetting that. Kee Kee Barber, and this is Take Notes with Kee Kee Barber. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Take Notes with Kee Kee Barber podcast. Please don't forget, notes on a pad without application is just notes on a pad. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press that notification button so you can stay in the know. Until next time, my friends.